The Woody Lynn Show.
Just when I thought that, after the Christmas AI episode and the After Christmas Parade episode and then the Media Squatch episode and then probably the most biggest influential podcast episode to date ever made. It's a bold claim, but I feel pretty confident in it. I interviewed Bigfoot. If you haven't heard that episode, let me tell you which episode it is. Let's go back and let me show you. It is episode number 9. Interview with Bigfoot. That's right. 9 episodes in this podcast. I was interviewing one of the most mythical, elusive creatures that have ever walked this earth. And I interviewed him on this podcast. So after the interview with Bigfoot, after the After Christmas Parade, the Christmas AI special, I thought to myself, how in the world, how am I going to top that? How are you going to top hit after hit after hit? And then all of a sudden, it's like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do next. And then I land another mythical creature interview for this episode. I'm going to get to that. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. Well, I might spoil the surprise in the title, but whatever. We're going to get to that. I have such a fantastic interview that we got. We got this interview after the holiday because he was actually at a better rate than before the holiday when he was super busy. Now that the holiday's over with, we got him super cheap. So I'm very proud of this. But let's get past this intro and then we're going to get into the interview. Everybody, again, I am honored and just humbled to be here. You're listening to this wonderful little experimental podcast called The Woody Land Show. We do have a new home on the web. I decided to consolidate a lot of the websites that we had going on out there. I had website here, website there. So I decided to consolidate. I decided to put The Woody Land Show under Media Squatch, the marketing agency. We've gone over this, everybody. A couple episodes ago, we've already talked about this. I don't want to rehash the past. So for me, I'm looking to the future. I'm looking straight ahead, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go straight ahead. So, yeah. So on the internet, you still go to the same website address, the Woody Land Show, woodyland.show. It'll take you to Media Squatch, where you can see this podcast. How I drop little marketing tidbits throughout the episodes. Maybe some episodes I do, some episodes I don't. Some episodes I'm just kind of getting out of the weirdness. Getting out the weirdness before the week starts so I can get work done. Getting all these random crazy thoughts out of my brain into a podcast. So it's gone, and then I can focus on work. And then this cycle comes back around. So we got a big episode today. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to overhype it. We're gonna get to something very important later in it, but I gotta do some other stuff first. Got to talk about work. Got to talk about updates. Got to talk about all that stuff, and then we're gonna get to. I'm not gonna say it's as big. Well, it might be as big as the Bigfoot interview. I'm not gonna lie. It's a big character in history, in the history of everything. So. I'll let the listeners decide. First of all, let's do a couple of housekeeping things. Let's do some kind of local updates, work updates, because those are important to me. First of all, monumental week last week for our streaming platform, Grove Street FM. That's right, Grove Street FM, which a little behind the scenes. I named it Grove Street FM because I wanted to resemble a radio station a few years ago. I kind of wanted people to think or having the comfort level of thinking that it was like a radio station, but it wasn't. It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid of podcasting, sometimes live streaming, all these music channels in there, video channels, content. It's just more than a radio station, but people we're having a hard time grasping, like, what do y'all do? And then this was just the easiest way to kind of be like, hey, Grove Street FM, listen to Grove Street. It makes it sound like a radio station, right? Then I kind of cleverly started in my brain, started thinking of, well, what can I call the FM? Because it's not technically a radio station, but I wanted to have a meaning to me, even though I never tell anybody this stuff. But in my brain, I kind of came up with something. I feel like The FM should stand for free media, Grove Street Free Media. And the reason I say that is because we're taking media from the stranglehold of corporate America, and we're a little small independent platform, and we're getting it out to the local masses. I don't know if that's going to stick. Y'all like it, let me know. If anybody listens to this and you're like, hey, I got an idea what FM stands for that's appropriate, tell me, because I would love to know. But Grove Street FM, Monumental Week, let me tell you what happened with our little streaming platform that could. Started that platform a couple years ago, started putting a bunch of local podcasts that we were doing under one thing so that we could easily tell the community, like, hey, you want to listen to all the podcasts that we're doing? Download this app. They're all in here, because it got very, very tiresome very quickly telling people, go to Apple. Or wait, what phone do you have? Do you have Android? Okay, we'll go to Google Play. Google Podcast is not available anymore. We'll go to Spotify. Well, wait a minute. It got exhausting. Just trying to be like, subscribe to these 10, 11 podcasts, whatever. We created an app, put all the podcasts in there so people that are not Podcast savvy, they can download the app, have all of them in one house, right? Then we started going live, which then the app really helped out, because then we could go live in our app and everything was in there, right? So this is a cool idea, cool concept, right? So fast forward, I've always really kind of wanted a weekday, like a reoccurring daily live show. So before, we were going live, and we still go live like one day a week. Wednesdays are the main days where we go live at noon, and then again at 5 with 2 of our podcasts, right? They go live every week on Wednesday. And that was great. Okay. But it really doesn't give people a reason to open the app any other day during the week, right? I mean, they can listen to podcasts, but not for live. I wanted them like, man, every day, got to open this app every day. So then I put music channels in there, and that's okay. But people have Spotify playlists that they listen to, and like, it wasn't enough to kind of draw like a crowd, right? Like, it's a good addition, added value to the app in addition to the local podcast. But the one thing that I felt like the app was missing was a Monday through Friday, like 6 to whatever morning show, right? The morning shows, you wake up, you become like, you feel like those people are part of your family. You're listening to them on the drive to work, or like in between cups of coffee. When you're waking up, you kind of got it on the background, or when you're driving your commute. It's just one of those things where like you listen to them for years and years and years, and they just become kind of like ingrained in your memories and your brain, and you're here, like you just become used to them every morning as part of your routine. I wanted that, but I can't produce that in the studio every day. We can't. One, to find people that will wake up that early is God bless them. 2, good people that would actually make an entertaining show for 4 hours. That's tough. 3, our studio, I can't get there that early. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I can't, but like, we just are using it, and we there's in and outs, and there's like a train that's like 10 feet from the back wall. And so it's just logistically, it's like, man, I don't know if I can produce a show. I can't do that. That's not my thing. I like building an app, and I like making it look pretty, marketing. And I like content, right? So then, long story short, a local morning show took the leap off of like a terrestrial local station here, and decided to do their own thing online, right? Kudos to them. Well done, right? They see the wave of the future. It's kind of cool to go online, be available everywhere. You kind of like, just whatever. I don't know that deal over there, but I know that I saw them available and they were online. And then I noticed, I was like, well, wonder if they're in an app or anything. And I noticed they didn't have an app, but they were streaming on Live 365, which I like. I love that platform because they take care of the music licensing and all that stuff. So I was like, man, I love this morning show. I listen to them every morning. The Morning Jam. That's the name of the show. The Morning Jam with Jan and Mark. I used to listen to them every morning when they were on the radio. And then, right when they were done, I would click off the radio station. That was the reason I listened. Then I found out, they're online. I was like, well, I wonder if they would be interested in being in our app, because that would be, huge for us. Like that would be like next level for people opening the app, for people using it every day, and reached out, nicest people, met again. Sure enough, now they're in the app, everybody. So a little mini dream of mine over the last few years came true this past week. And now in the app towards the top, we gave them primo spot. You can tap on the morning jam Monday through Friday, 6 to 10. They're live every morning, which is fantastic. And then when they're not live, they have probably one of the best playlists. They have a Doc Rock radio station, which we don't live too far from Smith Mountain Lake. Smith Mountain Lake is gorgeous, right? It's absolutely gorgeous. So they have Doc Rock radio, and it just fits that vibe. And it's just, everybody, this little platform, the minute I kind of am thinking like, oh, I don't know, I'm just busy, I'm tired, whatever. Like then all of a sudden something happens and you're just like, man, this is what I wanted. This is so good. It's just the perfect timing. So I am squatch-tastic over having the morning jam in the Grove Street FM app. And it's been fantastic. Traffic has been way up, has just been up like 1,000% downloads. Like it's just crazy. The ease of use now to listen to them is great because the app works well with CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. So you could take it and you can listen to it everywhere. And you're really not even, you're not limited by the radius of the radio station anymore, because before I would go through spots and lose them. Now I listen to them straight through, no problem. So that is step one past week. Congratulations. Thank you, God. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for just people willing to meet and talk. Simple as that. You're just stronger together. That's just the point. Like you're like, hey, you all are doing this. I'm doing this. Let's do this. Let's be mutually beneficial. Like you make everything work for them, work for you. It's a win-win-win-win, right? That's the first thing that Grove Street FM hit a milestone this past week that I'm super proud of. The second thing that I'm so like, what's another word for squash-tastic? I'm so squashtic over. Trademark that. I am so excited. This last week, we've been doing Grove Street FM Sports for 2 years now. This is the second season. First season, my friend Brian started doing play-by-play with friend Bart from the town manager. We started doing it as like a hobby, kind of playing around. We did live play-by-play last season of girls high school basketball in the area, and it went well. People listened. We put it in the app. It was live. It gave people reason to listen in the app, and I loved it. So this season came around, and we wanted to mix it up, right? So what we did was we added a sideline reporter role. So I had to get the equipment, figure that logistically out, and it worked fantastic. To be honest, it was such a great addition to high school broadcasting sports. I've never heard it in this area. I don't know about bigger areas. I need to start listening to high school sports broadcasts, but it was just fantastic, the addition that made. And then we picked up a couple sponsors, which is wonderful because our listenership was fantastic. And the quality of broadcast was fantastic. So then we got to the point where we're ready to ask for sponsors. Asked for a couple of sponsors that have been clients of mine for Media Squatch, and they were on board. They've seen great results. Everybody, they get the name out. It's a wonderful fit, right? Well, lo and behold, this past week, the team, Liberty, the Liberty Lady Minutemen, they make the playoffs, right? So then what happens? The best thing ever for a local broadcast station is they have to play remote. So we traveled for a couple games to broadcast them away to the home crowd, because like I think we had to travel about an hour and a half away from home. That's where they had to go. So a lot of the parents would go, but the community, they're just not gonna make that drive. They just, it's just not. It's a work night. It's a weekday, whatever. So we went to two different remote places, one in Bassett, Virginia, and then one Roanoke College. We broadcast from there so people could listen back home. And I'm telling you, the numbers were crazy. Like it was so cool because there have been home games where you broadcast and you got people listening, but there's a lot of people in the stands. It's not really a game that has a lot of stakes that steaks and fries. Like they don't, like, it just doesn't have it's not do or die. These games were, right? It's for the championship, region championship, excuse me. And so we broadcast those remote, new locations, back to the home crowd, and numbers were fantastic. So in 1 week, we add a morning show live every day, Monday through Friday. It's a fantastic morning show, by the way. They do a great job. Then we have 2 days where we are remote live sports for 2-hour broadcast, and these guys do a freaking fantastic job with the play-by-play. I cannot tell you, like you never know when you start something. Like, I know from a tech standpoint what to do. Like, I can figure it out. But then, like, I rely on the talent, right? Like, you just rely on the people to kind of do it. And this crew is fantastic. Like, just like the play-by-play, the details, the stats, Brian and Bart do. Trent did a couple of games. We have an intern, Emma. Like, when they do games, like, it elevates it, and it makes it entertaining for a guy like me who's like, really, I don't have any kids playing high school sports. I don't even like the team. I didn't play for the team, but I will listen to them because they're entertaining. So huge week for Grove Street FM last week going into this week. I'm so pumped. The numbers are great. It's our little streaming platform that's just growing, and I'm having fun with it. So if you haven't, download the app. I've got this podcast in there now. And I got a little TV station in there, the Woodyland Show TV, where I've got some of my content I'm just putting up there. I'm just kind of letting the Woodyland Show be my hub, my personal hub of craziness, but also connected to Media Squash for marketing, blah, 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 yabbity, yabbity. So it's good stuff going all the way around. Then all of a sudden, right, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, who can I interview? Like, who would be a very fitting interview for this time of year around Valentine's Day? We're past Valentine's Day now, but I was contemplating this. I was like, I've interviewed Bigfoot. What next? Like, who is next besides, interviewing Donald Trump or interviewing, I don't know, Mario, or interviewing whoever, Dave Chappelle? Like, who's a big name I can interview? It says I interview Bigfoot. Well, I got to thinking, I was like, it's a holiday, Valentine's Day. Why not reach out to Cupid? Like, why not? Like, I know he's busy on Valentine's Day or leading up to Valentine's Day, but like, what's he doing after? So our people called his people, which were very hard to get a hold of. I'm not going to lie. They were extremely, extremely difficult because he is a little busy little cherub just floating around, shooting arrows. Doesn't really carry a cell phone, so you got to wait till he gets back to the office, and then his secretary has to tell him, and then he just takes his time calling. It's complicated. And I was going to interview him on the 13th of February. He was way too expensive. And then so I reached out later, and so he's super cheap now. So we said, all right, let's do a post Valentine's Day interview with Cupid, right? And I'm telling y'all, I didn't expect Cupid to sound like this. I've never heard Cupid. I mean, you look at Cupid and you're like, well, probably sounds like a little boy because he looks like a little boy with wings. And I don't know, it probably sounds like Alvin and Chipmunks. Well, he kind of does a little bit, but a little bit different. He's got kind of like a gruff little voice. Great interview though. Love the interview. I sat down, just asked him some quick questions because I'm gonna be honest with you, even his post Valentine's Day rate was a little bit more than what I wanted to spend after the budget that I blew on the Christmas AI special, and even traveling for the Bigfoot interview cost us a ton. Like, I mean, I'm still expensing the travel expenses on that. So this interview, I just kept it kind of short and sweet. I was like, just ask some quick questions, over the phone, just to kind of just get in the holiday spirit post Valentine's Day. And, here's our interview. Our post Valentine's Day interview with Cupid. And if we couldn't have a bigger, I mean, Grove Street FM last week was huge. Now with the Morning Jam and then sports and all the podcasts, now in the Woodyland Show, we land another celebrity-ish interview. And I am over the moon. Here's a Cupid Valentine's Day interview. Cupid, I just want to thank you for taking the time after this, what is probably just a busy time for you. Just the love is in the air and all that stuff. I just got some quick questions, that listeners want to know. These are burning questions that I want to know. Let's start with the first one. How do you pick who to shoot with your arrow?
That's the $1,000,000 question, isn't it? You see, it's not as simple as it sounds. Sure, some people think I just randomly fly around and shoot arrows willy-nilly, but oh no, my friend, there's a method to my madness. First off, I've got this top-secret algorithm. Yeah, you heard me right. Cupid's got his own special formula, like some sort of love-struck Einstein. I take into account things like compatibility chemistry and whether or not they binge-watch the same Netflix shows. Because let's face it, if you can't argue over which character is the best on Friends, is it even real love? But wait, there's more. I also have my trusty spy network. That's right, Cupid's got his own little CIA of love. They're out there, blending into the crowd, gathering intel, and reporting back to me. Think of them as my love-hungry little minions, but with better fashion sense. And of course, there's always a bit of good old-fashioned intuition involved. Sometimes you just gotta go with your gut, Like that time I accidentally shot my arrow at the pizza delivery guy instead of the girl who ordered the pizza. Long story short, they're now happily married with 3 cheese-loving kids. So there you have it, Woody, the not-so-secret secrets of how Cupid works his magic. It's all in the arrows, the algorithms, and a dash of divine intuition. And hey, if all else fails, I just close my eyes, aim, and hope for the best. Works like a charm. Usually.
So we all know your big holiday is Valentine's Day, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean it's your favorite holiday, right? Am I right? So Cupid, tell the Woodyland Show people, listeners, what's your favorite holiday?
The eternal question. Woody, being the deity of love and all, I've got a soft spot for any occasion that lets me bust out my bow and arrow and spread a little romantic mischief. But if I had to pick just one holiday, it's like choosing between chocolates or roses impossible. But let me tell you about a holiday that doesn't get enough love, and that's Arbor Day. Yep, you heard me right. Picture this me, flying around, shooting hard-tipped arrows at unsuspecting lovebirds, but instead of roses, they're surrounded by majestic trees. It's like a rom-com set in a forest, complete with squirrels playing matchmaker and birds singing love ballads. Plus, think of all the eco-friendly dates picnics under the shade of an oak tree, treehouse escapades. The possibilities are endless. So, while everyone else is focused on the usual suspects like Valentine's Day or Halloween, I'll be over here, spreading love and planting trees like the eco-warrior of romance that I am. Arbor Day, baby, it's where the heart grows fonder and the leaves never fall out of love.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm listening to your answers here, and I'm thinking to myself, like, there have been some truly just large love stories in Hollywood that you often wonder, like, how did those two meet? Like, what was the circumstances? Is that for show? Like, I know we're kind of all going through the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift thing right now, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that in maybe another episode. I'm really not that huge of a fan of that, so I really didn't want to really talk about this in this interview. But what I want to ask you is do you have a favorite celebrity couple that you've been a part of?
You've hit me with a tough one. I've been in this matchmaking game for eons, and let me tell you, I've seen it all. From Hollywood royalty to rock stars, I've had a hand in bringing together some of the most iconic pairs. But if I had to choose a favorite, well, it's like trying to pick the cutest cherub in the bunch. However, there was this one couple that stands out in my memory. Picture this: a dashing leading man with a smile that could melt the polar ice caps, and a leading lady with enough sass to power a small country. Oh yes, I'm talking about none other than Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Now, let me tell you, Woody, matching those two up was like trying to mix a cocktail of passion and wit with a dash of mischief. But when they finally met, sparks flew like 4th of July fireworks. It was like watching a romantic comedy unfold in real life, complete with quirky meet-cutes and laugh-out-loud moments. And let me tell you, keeping up with their love story has been a roller coaster ride of epic proportions. From playful jabs on social media to heartfelt declarations of love, Ryan and Blake have shown the world what it means to be relationship goals. So if you ever need proof that true love exists in Tinseltown, just look to those two lovebirds soaring through the Hollywood sky.
Cupid, I really respect and appreciate your time. And I got one more question. And right now, during this time, AI is such a hot topic. We had Sora come out of OpenAI. Their video, text to video thing looks mind-blowingly amazing. And Google came out with Gemini, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they fell flat on their face with that one. Horrific results. But coming from like an old school guy like yourself, do you have any future plans for incorporating AI into your workflow as Cupid?
Let me tell you about my grand plans for incorporating AI into the realm of love and romance. You see, I've been pondering this very question while lounging on my cloud, sipping on a love potion martini, and let me tell you, the ideas are flowing faster than an arrow to the heart. Picture this Cupid's AI matchmaking service. Yes, indeed, I'm talking about a sophisticated algorithm that analyzes every aspect of a person's personality, preferences, and romantic history to find them their perfect match. None of this swiping left or right nonsense. Just sit back, relax, and let Cupid's AI do all the heavy lifting. But wait, there's more. I'm thinking of adding a little flair to the mix with some personalized AI-generated love letters. Gone are the days of cheesy pickup lines and awkward texting. With Cupid's AI Love Notes TM, every message will be crafted with the finesse of Shakespeare and the charm of Ryan Reynolds. Or maybe just Ryan Reynolds himself if he's up for it. And let's not forget about AI-powered date planning. From romantic dinners under the stars to adrenaline-fueled adventures, Cupid's AI Date Concierge TM will curate unforgettable experiences tailored to each couple's unique tastes. So, there you have it, Woody. The future of love is bright, and with a little help from AI, I'll be spreading even more love and joy than ever before. Who knows, maybe one day I'll even train a team of lovebot drones to deliver chocolates and roses straight to people's doorsteps. The possibilities are endless, my friend. Endless, I tell you.
Can't thank you enough. Again, I cannot thank you enough. Your check's in the mail for this interview. We'll Venmo or Cash App you for this. We appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your busy post-holiday schedule for the Woody Land Show. Thank you so much, Cupid. Everybody, there you have it. A groundbreaking interview with a mythological creature, a mythological being. What do you call him? He's the god of desire. That's what it says. He's Cupid. He shoots you with an arrow, and so where do we go from here? Where do you go from here after interviewing Bigfoot and Cupid? I got a couple more interviews up my sleeve, I think. I'm thinking of a couple that I'm going to reach out, and with this in my portfolio, I'm pretty sure an award is on the horizon for later in the year. We'll get to that later, though, but first things first, thank you for listening to the Woody Land Show. Grove Street FM is on fire. And again, kudos to Cupid. Appreciate you. Appreciate you being on this episode of the Woody Land Show.
And that's a wrap, folks.